I thank the chair, and thank you, Ms. McCabe, for joining us again today. Hope you had a happy 4th of July. We sometimes disagree, sometimes strongly, but the folks back in Texas 22 appreciate your willingness to come before this committee. My first question concerns your budget documents. You stressed that the Clean Power Plan goes far beyond traditional end-of-the-pipe regulation. In your FY 2016 submittal to Congress, you stated, and I quote, "The breadth and uniqueness of the Clean Power Plan rulemakings will require that the agency devote significant resources to its implementation. Traditionally, the EPA's regulatory analysis would focus on only emitting sources and end-of-pipe controls. The existing power plant rule requires that the EPA look at the emission control strategies that are either shifting generation away from higher emitting plants or reducing the need for generation in the first place." End quote. That sounds to me like y'all wrote the law. As you know, only Congress writes the law. Article 1, Section 1 is very clear. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. Where in the Constitution or statute has Congress authorized EPA to go from end-of-pipe controls to generation shifting? Where is this in this document? Please tell me.
It's actually, Congressman, it's in Section 111D of the Clean Air Act, which is where our authority comes from. That section directs us to look at the approaches and controls that industry uses in order to develop our regulations that set reasonable standards for sources under 111D. It is not restricted to end-of-pipe controls. And we have studied the ways that the utility industry has found ways to reduce not just carbon but other air pollutants over the years. And so our rule was grounded very much in the types of approaches that that very industry has been using.
But that's a big change. End-of-pipe to all these other things, that's Congress's job. That's our job. That's lawmaking. One further question about the rule of law. Do you believe EPA has the authority to compel in the future generation shifting from natural gas to renewables? Not coal, but natural gas to renewables. Do you have that authority? The same authority you're using now?
Our job is to develop rules that reduce air pollution. That's our job under the Clean Air Act, setting technology-based standards following the direction that Congress gave us in Section 111B. We are not requiring any particular fuel to be used. We are providing broad opportunities for the industry to use the kinds of approaches that they use and would choose to use.
Well, you're banning one source of power from being used, coal, for sure. I mean, you say you're not choosing that, but you are, ma'am. The real world says you are choosing power sources. You are picking winners and losers. My second question is about the technological advancements that have allowed our country to emerge as the #1 producer in the world of oil. In fact, a study came out from Norway this past week. A 3-year analysis confirmed that by 2020, America will have 264 billion barrels of recoverable oil compared to 256 billion barrels with Russia and 212 billion barrels with Saudi Arabia. We are #1, man. America is #1 again. My home state of Texas has been at the front of this revolution, even with today's energy prices. And that's why I'm stunned to see concerns coming from the largest and most efficient oil and gas regulators in America, the people in Texas, the Railroad Commission, when it comes before your agency. Is it correct that EPA's new methane regulations will cause natural gas and crude oil drilling and production levels to decline? Yes or no?
I don't believe it will, sir.
Well, ma'am, according to Your economic impacts discussed in your final rule on page 35,886. It says it does just that. A follow-up question, is it correct that EPA's new methane regulations will make the U.S. more reliant on foreign energy imports? Yes or no?
I don't believe that that's correct, sir.
Same thing, page 35,886. Your final rule says it will. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. This time recognize the